Hi, everybody. New year, new you. Am I right? No. New year, same neurotic me. Very neurotic. I will tell you, I haven't been on here in a bit to record. Not that it's been that long. Um, and this episode is it's probably going to be a bit random too. I just woke up like 20 minutes ago and I thought to myself, let's try something new and do an episode before your day begins. Maybe your brain won't be as foggy, or maybe it will. Let's find out. Anyways, there's been so many snowstorms here. Finally that shit has melted and you can see grass. Um, uh-oh. Unexpected sneeze. Hope you didn't know I hope you didn't hear that. Also, sneezes are unexpected anyways, aren't they? I really need to upgrade and get like something more than a $30 microphone, and maybe one day I'll go to 40 and you can hear more. I don't know why I said that. Maybe this wasn't the best time to record, but who knows? Anyways, yeah, there's been so much snow here, and I forgot that that's what Syracuse has been like, but for the past few years, it's been like snow's been like almost non-existent. Like I want to say last year maybe Alicia brought the snowblower out twice. The year before maybe it was once. So, I don't know. But damn, like the whole fucking backyard, like it was almost not a backyard. Like everything was buried. The chairs were close to being buried. It was just the snow was taking over. And it's like, I don't know, catch 22. I love, or is that the right, I don't know if that's the right description for this, but I love snow because it keeps people inside. It looks nice from in here because in here feels cozy. And out there sure as fuck doesn't. And but on the other side of it, I have to shovel because I don't snowblow. I don't mess with those machines. I don't like it. Um, and so I was like, I'm gonna have to shovel this shit. And I'm not looking forward to manual labor. I fucking hate it. And then I saw like I'm sitting here watching like a documentary and I hear it's like 2:30 in the morning, which is like normal time for me, but like 2:30 in the morning or 2:30 in the morning, everybody is fucking quiet. Most people are sleeping or whatever. And I hear the snowblower and I'm like, who the fuck is snow blowing at 2:30 in the morning? I mean, I guess people that have to be at work by 4, I guess that would make sense, but you usually don't hear that around here. So I bring out my handy dandy ring app and I look into it. And who is it? It is this guy from all the way down he lives at the corner house, um, opposite of Nadine. Nadine lives at the end of one side, he lives at the end of the other. He's the guy, I think I've talked about him before. He likes to go around to like mow people's yards, and he does the same thing with snowblowing too. So he was snowblowing our driveway. I was like, yes, yes. I'm so excited. No manual labor because it's not going to snow too much after this. So he got it like right in time, like good timing. Anyways, and then I'm over at like Janice's the other day, which I'll tell you more about in a bit. And she brought him up, and like her and like some of the other 8 neighbors were like annoyed, like, who the fuck is like doing this so early in the morning? I guess like that would make sense when you're sleeping, but it's called white noise, people. You wouldn't wake up to shit if you had white noise on. And I was like, you guys were irritated? I was like, hell fucking yeah. I don't have to go out. I mean, like, they're older, so they never have to go out. So I suppose it would be irritating at that point. But I'm not there. I'm not there in life yet. Anyways, so there's that. Did I say this was going to be a bit of a rando episode? Maybe. Um, oh, I'm drinking coffee too. Hold on. Does anybody notice that, like, does anybody at home have like different sized coffee cups? And you notice that coffee tastes better in like a regular size? Like, I don't know how to describe a regular size, but you should be able to conjure it in your mind. And then you have like a larger coffee mug where you could fit like the whole fucking pot in there, probably. I've noticed that coffee tastes better coming out of a regular size cup than a large one. And you're welcome for that thought. Let's see. Oh, so like we've had a water shortage since like last month, and it was supposed to be fixed, but it's extended into this month. It's supposed to hopefully be fixed in like a week. And forgive me if I've talked about any of this, my brain, you know. Um, but we got this, there was this update and then different alerts saying like the water pressure's low and there's been leaks and, you know, conserve water basically. And I've never had to experience something like this, which sounds kind of gross. And I'm sorry, but I don't know. Does it sound gross? It's just a fact. And I'm like, I have to conserve water. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll shower every other day instead of every day, and I'll take bird baths and make do or whatever. No big deal. Look at me being responsible and a mature adult, and like nobody knows that I'm contributing to, you know, preserving this water. But anyways, all that to say, that Alicia's idea of preserving water was not to pee or not to flush after peeing. And I thought we were past the days of if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down because sometimes it could be black, you know, um, or green. So I don't know. They need to come up with stuff for those colors too. But I wasn't like, look, this is just, I'm sorry if this part sounds gross, but I just wasn't raised like that. Like I never had to do that. And I know that there are people that have. But all I'm gonna say is like I would go into the bathroom and I finally noticed what this bitch was doing. She was wiping, sorry, I don't mean to sound like throw her under the bus, but this was just my experience. She'll go to the bathroom, wipe, and put it in the trash can, the wastebasket that has a lid, thank goodness, and just not flush. And so I would go into the bathroom and I would lift that toilet seat, and you know, you smell shit that other people don't. I'm not talking about literal shit in this instance, but like I could smell pee. I know what other pee smells like. If it's not from my body, I can fucking smell. I know it's not mine, and I don't like it. My brain's like, get this smell out of our fucking brain. We don't like how this feels in our body. So like, I didn't say anything. I would just go in and just automatically flush, wait for it to fill while I'm petting the cat. You know, my soul kitty. He follows me in there, and then I would pee, you know, and then flush, and then whatever. And I would just not tell her because I don't want her to feel like she was wasting her time. So, like, better not say anything. And then, like, a couple days later, I go blow my nose and I put because, you know, like the waste bin gets, if you don't push it down or whatever, you know, you got to push it down every so often. The contents inside, like tissues. And so it was like kind of at the top when I opened the lid. So I go push it down. And guess what? My my thumb, my pointer finger, and my middle finger experienced. That's right, folks. That's right, folks. It touched her urine toilet paper in the trash can. And I was like, no. I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but I was not happy about that. I was like, "This is disgusting," and she heard none of that. I don't know how she didn't hear me. And I washed my hands vigorously, vigorously. I scrubbed the shit out of those fingers. They were red. And then I go out there and I'm like, "Hey, this is what I've been doing, okay? Because you pee, I flush. You don't know, but like I've had it. Like you can't keep putting these pee towels into the trash can because I fucking touched one." And what does she do? She starts busting out laughing. Oh my god. I'm sorry if this is a thing that people have done. This is news to me. I didn't know people like this is how they this is I thought brown, well, like if it's mellow, if it's yellow, let it mellow. I thought that meant leaving the toilet paper in the toilet. Flush that down later, you know, with the pee. Don't decide which one gets flushed and which one doesn't. Okay, I gotta move on from that. Oh god, 10 minutes about that shit. Okay, anyways, where am I at? I had to put notes. Oh, did I tell you that my wife made me uh this is her in a positive light now. Did I tell you that she made me an advent calendar for Christmas, and every day, every like the 25 days, each day had a tree, and she would draw it just with a pen. It's so beautiful on like they sell like these mini little they're not canvases, but they're like the paper. I don't know how to describe it, but anyways, it's like the special art paper or whatever. So she would draw the tree and shade and stuff like that, shade it in on the front, and then on the back there's tree facts. And woo, talk about making my brain happy. I love me some tree facts. So I was like, this is like the best fucking advent calendar. So like every day, like sometimes she would remember and put the day's tree by my coffee maker, and then some days she would forget and I would get it later, which was just as fantastic. And I'll have to take a picture of it, maybe, if anybody even cared to see it. Because what I did, this is very random, probably going to be a bit of a longer episode, but like I have this shelf next to me, and I have one, two, three, four, five lines. So five of these going down and five of them going across. And it's this perfect like rectangle of just fucking beautiful trees that she drew with the names of what the trees are underneath them. And so like I'm always looking at them, and now I've memorized like without noticing some of the tree names, and I can recognize them on different like TV shows. I was like, "Oh my god, this is great. Look how much I'm learning." But like trees, I love trees. So like that was the best advent calendar ever. Um anyways, a bit of a pivot. So like we're apparently invading Venezuela because this is what I'm telling you. People have said to me, "Thank you for your service." And I always feel like weird about it because I don't know why. What are you thanking me for? The fact that I participated unknowingly in a fucking war that was about power and greed? Like wars are in my opinion, go look back at like the reasons for these wars. They're not to like protect a nation. They're not to protect your country. Like you're going after something or you think something's going on, and then let's go and investigate. Let's go make a war. Let's go see if we can get this and get that. There's a lot that like just doesn't get said. Like I could tell you a lot about that fucking Afghanistan, Iraqi freedom fucking war. I was stationed in the desert. They called it Iraqi freedom. Like I am gonna give a pass to the young ones in there. Like that's how they brainwash you. I was like, oh my God, 20, 21, 22, early 20s before I got out of the military. So I didn't even know what this war was. All I know was like I didn't watch news. I was ignorant. I didn't know politics. I was only in the military to escape my prison while not realizing I was already in another one. So I was very ignorant. I didn't know what any of those wars were supposed to be about. I was just told you're getting deployed, you're doing this, and I did it. So to all of those people that had that mindset, like, and they went into Venezuela anyway, like if I don't know who the fuck went in. Was it like really our troops? Was it like a bunch of volunteers? Was it a combination of both? But for the older folks in there, um, with the rank and the officers and like the people that are they've had life experience. They know that their shit is wrong, and they're going in and doing this anyways. Fuck them. You're not supposed to follow an illegal order, and you're doing it anyways. So fuck you, especially like if you're in the know, like, and you knew what you were doing was wrong going into Venezuela, fuck you. Like you don't belong in the military. You're not what the military was supposedly supposed to be about. So when I saw that shit, oh my God. I do not want to be an American right now. This is just fucking dumb, but I've said that before. So, like, that's disgusting. Disgusting. But, like, the hearings, we had hearings, was a few days ago, like the shadow hearings that the Democrats held to like, it's like the anniversary, the 5th year anniversary of January 6th in this country, where people were, like, trying to climb and they stormed the fucking Capitol like lunatics. And so they held these hearings to get like witnesses and like, like it wasn't much different from like the ones from 5 years ago. And except for the fact that this is the aftermath, this is the trauma that people are talking about they've experienced. There was somebody in there who was like, yeah, I was one of those rioters, but like, I regret it. And like, she took responsibility. And like, you can't hate somebody that's being a human and realizing what I did was fucking wrong and I'm owning it. Like, respect, I loved that hearing because I watched how was it, 6 hours, 4 hours? I watched all of it because facts and evidence is what my brain loves. So, yes, please give me a break from the craziness and let me like watch some facts and some real humans talk about some shit. Anyways, where am I at in my notes? Does anybody who listens to, like, I don't know, do you listen to, well, for example, Mary Trump Media, I still watch her videos, and this bitch has been putting like water on there a lot for her emotional support moments. They're like, I don't know, a minute long, and it's like waterfalls or like, river water or like whatever. Is there anybody out there that finds your ears literally hurt when you're listening to water that's not in front of you in real life? Like, I can't listen to it if it's coming on the TV. It sounds like it just doesn't sound like real water. I don't know how to explain that. Same thing with the laptop and the phone, anything in my headphones. Like, it hurts my ears to listen to like water sounds when they're not real. They just sound obviously not real to me, but yet people find it relaxing. So, like, can somebody explain that to me somehow? Okay, where am I at with time? Trying to keep it shorter, about the same length. Boop, 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 boop. This is something else I'm like hoping that people will help me with. So I put, and you think what you want. I think a lot of you will understand. But like, Alicia likes to have crackers and cheese for like a snack for her lunch for work. So I get like those club crackers, that box of like they got 3 sleeves or whatever. Um, Pretty salty, but good when you really need salt. And so when I was doing her lunch, you open up a sleeve. I take like, several crackers out, put them in a thing, and then, you know, I just got tired after, like, I'm just tired of like twisting things up and trying to find the right sized Ziploc to put them into to keep them fresh and then to put them back inside the box. And then when I would do that, it's like I didn't take enough air out of the Ziploc, so it wouldn't go back inside the box all the way. And I just had enough of it. And like a couple of years ago, I just started like twisting the paper up and with the rest of the crackers in it, putting that sleeve back inside, and then I take a handful of paper towels that were not used, have not been used, they came right off the roll, and I crumple them up and I stuff them on top of that sleeve. Then I close the box, and that keeps them from going stale. The paper towels. And it's quicker than searching for a fucking like Ziploc bag. So I don't know, it was like a month ago. Alicia was going to get crackers because she usually doesn't eat them unless they're in her bag at work, but she wanted a snack, so she went and got some crackers. And she's like, "What is this?" Because I happened to be out in the kitchen. And I was like, "Paper towels." She's like, "What are those doing in here?" And I told her what I just told you. She's like, "That's weird." I'm like, "Whatever. Then you can find a Ziploc." And then, like last week, I saw her out in the kitchen again. Like I was walking out there for something, and she was putting the paper towels, like she took one off the roll. She had a new sleeve that she opened. She took some off the roll, crumpled them up, put them back in that fucking box with like maybe, I don't know, like, yeah, I think it was a new sleeve. And I saw her do it. I was like, well, excuse me. Weird, huh? Yeah, convenient is more like it. What didn't you know? Anybody else put like paper towels in their cracker boxes because you're lazy? And if you haven't thought of it and you think that's a good idea, you're welcome. Let's see. Da 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 da. Okay, so two more things. Coffee time. Sorry about that. I just don't want this cup of coffee to like get cold because it's like a good cup of coffee, and I don't often make good cup of coffees for myself. I think I talked about that lots of time ago. Um, okay, so Janice and Adine, if this is your first episode, Janice is our neighbor. She rented this house to us that we've lived in for many, many years, and we bought it like 3, 4 years back. So like we own this house now. She lives next door. We consider her family, and her sister Nadine um lives down at the other end of the street, and like we consider her family too. Um and So every year we do this gift exchange, and I'm trying to like keep this as short as possible so I don't like waste too much of your time. But like basically like we do it after the holidays every year. It just turns out that way. Sometime in the first week or two of January, we get together, we exchange our presents, and that's that. And so usually the last few years at least, it's been Janice or Nadine reaching out like, "Hey, do you want to come over on this day so we can do that?" And we usually hadn't reached out because we were still behind in like getting their shit. It was just it's just ugh. And plus like there were times where I was just like, maybe hopefully they didn't get us nothing. And we don't have to do this year because it's the socializing part. It's the not knowing when I get to leave part. Um, and you can't, it's just different every time. Like, you don't, like, just because we do presents every year doesn't mean, like, I know exactly the time I can leave afterward. Like, there's no clear time. I have to just, like, anyways. So this year, we couldn't afford presents for people. It's a fact. Like, I have a bunch of, like, art shit that I haven't touched in years because I haven't had the time. So I made the time and I made people stuff. And usually we don't like it when Janice and Nadine get us those big expensive gifts every fucking year. Like they got us the first edition of Alexa. Um they've gotten us like all the fucking gadgets, like fryers, like anything that was like new for the year, they would fucking buy it for us. And even back then we were like, dude, this is so expensive. Like don't buy it, don't spend this much money on us. We don't need these things. Like really, it's okay. They never listen. And this is the first year we truly are like, if we could do it, we could put it on the credit cards, but we're not going to because we're trying to get out of debt, not add more to it. So, this was the first year I felt okay about not being able to afford gifts and making people things. First year I experienced not being neurotic about this. And then with Alicia, this seems to me to be the first year she experienced like, oh no, what are we going to get people when she's usually the opposite? Um, I don't know. I don't know if I explained that right. But like she was like, maybe we should. I was like, wow, this is surprising. I was like, it's really okay if we can't afford things. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Everything has been like fucking skyrocketing. I'm still figuring my shit out. Like, we're just being smart and like we're not the only ones that are struggling with like, we're not struggling. Like we can meet our bills and like we have like a little bit left over because of her. Um, but anyways, I said, look, this is what I'll do. We owe like Janice and Nadine words. Like they're the kind of people, they're old fashioned. Like Janice is in her late 70s. Nadine I think is like 60, early 60s maybe. She's got to be in her early 60s because she's at least, I think she's 15 years younger than Janice if I remember correctly. Um and they don't like to talk about feelings. We've never done that stuff with them. We don't talk about like deep things with them because they're just not those kinds of people, and which usually would annoy me, but like it doesn't with them. It's just because I consider them to be family even though I hide out from them most of the time. And so I made Janice Nadine, like I did like up a little letter on cardstock, and I made my own envelopes, and like I put thought into it, and I wrote them each like a front and a back of like what you mean to us. And maybe it was a bit cheesy, but it was all true. And I know at the very least I'm halfway decent with writing, so that's something I can just do for free. And we've never like sat down, and I've always wanted to tell Janice like this is how I feel about you, Janice, but like she puts a stop to shit like that. So my plan was do these letters, go over there, and then we're gonna read them to them. And we also got them like a couple of other smaller things to go with it, but nothing too expensive. And so like we go over there because like Janice was like, "Come have a dinner." I told her, sorry about all the backtracking. What time am I at? Well, okay, not too bad. So I asked Alicia, "Can you just text Janice because I think we should finally be the ones that text first because they're gonna think we don't like them, even though they probably already think that over the years. I don't know." I was like, "Let's just for once be the first ones that reach out to them and ask to get together." And so Alicia did that, and then Janice came back with, "Come over for dinner tomorrow night between 5:30 and 6." Which right there I was like, can't she just pick one or the other? Why does it have to be between? And I was like, fine, we'll just go at 5:45. That's between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. And that way we're not too early and we're not late. And so I was like, ooh, dinner. Okay, so like this really lets me like have a clear idea of when we're gonna be able to leave. We eat dinner, we open presents, and then usually it's about like 10 minutes before like all of us are ready to be done with the thing, and then we can go. Um, Dinner to me was just like food on a plate one time. Dinner to Janice and Nadine was 3 courses. We got an appetizer, we got a main meal, and we got a dessert. It was a very long dinner. I wasn't expecting that. So then I was like, okay, well, after this is presents. So then I'll know when I can leave. Basically, it's that game. You know what game I'm talking about. Like, socializing is hard, people. It was about 3 hours. We left at 9, and I was trying to get us out of there at 8:30 because that's like Alicia's like legitimate bedtime. Like she gives herself, she has to go to bed by 8:30 to get up for work the next day. Um, but we were there till 9, and Alicia wasn't like really feeling the socializing thing, so I was like doing the most of it for us, so she didn't have to worry about it because she does it for me all the time. So, um, but anyways, that was a very long night. And it was actually fun. And you know why it was fun is because I took a gummy before I went over there. And I know how that sounds. That I forgot that Janice likes to like water me with like there's eggnog liquor thing. So like there's eggnog that has liquor in it that I know is not a new thing in this world, but like I don't buy alcohol. I don't go out and drink. Like I don't do that no more. Any alcohol I get is from next door because they do. I just stick with my edibles, my gummies. And so they gave me this eggnog with liquor, and it's the only way I'll drink eggnog. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so delicious. I really was doing that. I was like, this is so good. And fucking Janice was like, well, it was just a $10 bottle from across the street in that little liquor store. The one between Walgreens and the Dollar Tree. There's this like itsy bitsy little liquor store. And I was like, okay, fine. Laugh at me if you will, but like you don't tell me things like this. If you see somebody like enjoying something of yours that much, don't fucking say it was $10 and it came from like a dingy little liquor place. Like say, yeah, I imported it from France and da da da. Make up a story. I'm gullible. I'll believe it. Like, oh my God. Like I do this shit to Alicia when she makes something or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the best thing I've had in my entire life. And then she'll say some shit like, um, it only took like 10 minutes, or it was only this or only that. And I'm like, don't say that. Like, let yourself absorb the credit you don't deserve. Hello. But, anyways, figured out when I could leave quite easily, and it was the joy of my life to see Janice squirm and giggle. And I had to shush her while I read her the thing that I wrote for her. It was hilarious to see a lady in her late 80s like not know how to handle hearing nice things about herself, and she had no choice. And she couldn't even read my writing because it's tiny anyways, but I wrote bigger. I thought it would help her, but it didn't. So I read it to her and I said, go get a magnifying glass next time if you would like to remind yourself of how wonderful of a person you are. I also wrote Nadine's for Alicia, and it was evident because, but it was like true, all true what I wrote. And Alicia read that to Nadine, and Nadine was like having to, it was just hilarious. Like, we're just some like cat ladies in our 40s, and we go over just like people that can be like old enough to be our parents, and like at this point in their lives they don't know how to deal with compliments. It was just cute. It was just so cute. I was like, you guys don't have to be embarrassed. Like, you need to hear nice things about yourself. I know your family wasn't raised that way. You're not like that, but it's okay to just hear somebody say, this is what you mean to me. This is what you've taught me. This is what I do now because it's something you said 8 years ago, shit like that. Anyways, and finally, no, I don't have public journal 9. I never got that done in time. I had one tiny thing left to do, and I could have had it out on the 31st. I'm just beyond burned out right now, is all I'm gonna say. I'm beyond burned out. Um, I don't think I really did anything to help this year's long burnout like I thought I did. Yesterday I got up and I was just, my brain was fighting me like, no, no, no. Like, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. Like, I couldn't do things yesterday. I'm sleeping longer than I want to, or I'm not sleeping at all. It's all fucked up. I feel like I'm still playing catch up, even though it's like I thought I would ease into the new year with like my routines again, and it's just like, oh my God, like my brain is fried. I had a meltdown last night. Um, I mean, it wasn't terrible. Like, my meltdowns don't take me out anymore, which is crazy to me, and also lovely. Like, I don't like have a meltdown and then I'm down for days or whatever. I had, it was probably just a mini one, and I'm just expressing frustration like I need a break. Like, I haven't had a vacation in since 2019, since like, and this was before COVID-19 when I quit the workforce. Before I even knew about that. I haven't had a vacation since 2019 because we couldn't afford it. And I was gonna take a week off like a couple months ago, but then I took 2 days of it and forgot that we had Madeline coming that weekend. And then I was like, well, that doesn't really count to me to be on vacation with a kid here. No offense to her. It's just like, that's not a night, that's not a vacation for me. Does that make sense? I wasn't planning on it, So anyways, I was just like, ah, fuck it. Because that's 3 days taken away, and then I would only have 2 days left of my week that I gave myself, and like if there was deadlines I had and I couldn't give myself more days, it was just ridiculous. And now I'm like, can I please just take a month off somehow? Like, all I want to do is write, and there's all of this other stuff going on. Like teaching myself typesetting was harder than I thought it would be on my brain. Like, I guess it's not as easy as I thought it would be to just learn this entirely new skill in a matter of like just days, just keeping at it and keeping at it and keeping at it until I finally get it. And then I do it. And then I'm thinking, okay, in a few days, my brain will be active again and I can go back and do things. And like, no, like my brain's just tired. And I know that like this is like I could have made different choices over the last several years. Like I know this. Um, it just never seems like the right time. And when you work for yourself or you try to, or and it definitely when like you go from, I was making good income as a freelancer, really good income, and then that dried up during it's just over the last handful of years, it's just dried up. It's just scammers out there now. Like it's harder to get like projects. So that all dried up, and then I had to pivot, and I've talked about that before, and it's just hard. It's hard to do it when you don't know anybody who's done it before. Um, and like Alicia's got her job and her shit to focus on. Like that takes up like that's what you do for a living is what you do for a living. Like a lot of your life's devoted to your fucking job. So it's not fair to like try to get her to teach me things that like she doesn't have to teach, that she doesn't even know, that she would have to learn and then teach me, and it just didn't make sense. So I'm trying to do all this on my own, and I appreciate the support from everybody. I'm just tired. And like I just need time off, and I hope that we can figure out a way to make that happen soon, because like it's just like, get up every day, and I feel like I'm just complaining at this point, but I feel like just done, like I'm beyond burned out. I don't know what this is. I need to crawl out of it, and I keep saying that, and like I haven't. I feel like I've dug myself deeper. So like, is anybody in this spot right now? Like, I know what I could be doing. I know, like, put yourself first and do this and do that. I know. But, like, how do you get your brain to tell you it's okay to do those things when you don't feel like it is and you feel like you got to keep going? Like, I feel like in some ways, I'm not making the kind of progress in this area as I thought I was, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is because I've made progress in other areas. So I can't be too mad. But it's hard to say, like, oh, lighten up on a couple of things when, like, you're the one doing it all on your own. I don't have like a team of people, even internet people. I've never met. Maybe I need to search for them on purpose. I don't know, but I just thought I would put it out there, and maybe somebody can relate to it, and I feel a little bit better that I just like said that. But yeah, along with it came something good, which I just kind of like let some constraints on myself go. Like, look, you said you were going to get a journal published this year because you didn't even do one this year, and you've done three in a year before, and you waited to the last minute because you had other stuff going on. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I can't like hold myself to impossible standards sometimes. I give myself my own deadlines and I always meet them. 99% of the time I meet them. In the past like year or so, I just like it's harder and harder and harder. And so I need to like reevaluate, and then that's a whole process too. What has to go for right now? And la 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 la. And I just thought I would get out of here to say I am tired. And I hope this episode made some kind of a sense. And thank you for listening. And thank you for everybody that has been like sharing shit about my book, my new book. I talked about it last time. I don't have the energy to talk about it this time, other than to say thank you so much for your comments and your shares. And like, it goes a long way, believe me. And it's so surprising. Like, that's a whole other episode in itself. Like, I'm surprised at the positive feedback and that people give a shit. It's weird. Weird, I say. It's weird. Okay, gotta go. Thank you very much as always. And I forgot half of what I said. I'm going to delete the notes and then like okay, nobody cares about that. So, thank you for listening, and by the way, I will be back regularly once a week. I only missed like 1 week. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. I know nobody's like, "Where is she? Where is she? I miss her so much." But like just to say it to make my mind feel better, cuz sometimes some of my favorite podcasters disappear, or like they'll take a couple weeks off surprisingly out of nowhere when they never do that, and then come back and say a lot was going on and da 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 da, and I really needed that break. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I get it. And then they do the episode, and then like it's a month before I hear from them again, when it used to be like every week. And they were like, yeah, this is where things are at, da 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 da, but like I'm gonna start doing this regularly again. And then they're gone for months, and it pisses me off because I love these people. So I'm definitely sticking to like my weekly episode, in case anybody was wondering, because I refuse to do that. That's all I would think about, and I would just feel guilty, and I would feel like not like myself, because I'm a very A-type person. I gotta go. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye. I don't know what that was. Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Oh God. Oh no. Okay, bye.